It's not just about having your own money. Some people are in marriage, they have their own money and they don't feel empowered. You become empty, and then when you're empty, unfulfillment will definitely come in. You don't say, okay, I'm working on my marriage, and you lack your own personal development and you're not enriched as a person, as a woman. Hello beauties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Yemi. I'm a self-discovery coach. Yeah, I need to start saying that on the channel. Anyways, welcome to the channel. My name is Yemi, and this channel is all about inspiring you to own your life, live up to your potentials, and to be your best self. So please check out the other videos on the channel so that you know what I do on this channel and what I get up to in my personal life. Just a little bit of it, okay? Just a tiny bit of it that you get to see. But anyways, that's what I do on this channel. As you can already tell from the title of today's video, I'm going to be talking about a topic that I've gotten quite a good number of questions on. I can tell you guys since towards the end of last year, since I released my ebook, I've gotten quite a few questions around this topic. Mostly people of this age grade with the same issue, asking for the same thing. So this particular one that I'm going to read out to you guys is like the one, it's not the latest one I got, and I just want to use this particular DM because this DM actually carries all the questions, all the things that other people ask me individually. So this one is like all in one. So that's why I'm going to be using this particular DM I got, and I'm going to be reading it out to you guys. So she said that I just started following your page and I have a question for you. I'm 30 years of age and I've not achieved anything in terms of finance, business, and even my marriage is not worth it. I'm a BSc holder. I learned tailoring but not to the end. I got married after my BSc. I have 2 kids. My husband have been feeding me. I've been working on my marriage. At this point, I think I need to work on myself. I guess it's not too late for me. I'm planning to go back to my fashion school. I really need a mentor. I lack courage and I need help. Thank you so much. I would appreciate your response and all of that. And then of course I replied to a message and we talked and all of that. But I just want to use this confession, this question to talk about this topic, 30 years old, married, and being unfulfilled. Okay, so I think a lot of times when people talk about unfulfillment as it relates to a particular status, it's usually people who are maybe in their 30s and they are single and they feel unfulfilled, or they say I'm 30, I don't have kids and I'm unfulfilled, or things like that. I've seen quite a good number of videos on YouTube like that when people talk about unfulfillment as it relates to their status, but it's usually single people. I know that yes, there are definitely some married people who also feel unfulfilled in their marriages, but I don't see a lot of people come out to say, oh, I'm unfulfilled in my marriage while still in the marriage. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? So I think it's a very good topic to talk about and to share more insights on, so I'm just going to be sharing my own thoughts, my own opinion on this topic, okay? And if you have any other thing to add, if you feel like you have so much wisdom on this particular topic and you want to share your nuggets, please feel free to share in the comment section. I'd really love to hear your comments on this, because I feel like I have a few older people who are also well matured and secure who can also give some other tips in the comments. All right, so I'd love to hear from you guys. So I'm just going to be talking about unfulfillment in life generally, because I feel like unfulfillment has nothing to do with your status. You can be unfulfilled whether you're single or you're married or you have everything figured out. Like, unfulfillment has nothing to do with your marital status at all. It just proves that there is something wrong somewhere. Lack of fulfillment has to do with, it's an internal struggle, it's an internal issue. It has nothing to do with what is happening to you. I feel like it's an internal problem that when the external environment is not all right, that's when you begin to realize the impact of what is going on inside of you. So one thing I would say is that, or the first thing I would say is that, because I have a good number of things to say concerning this topic, and the first thing I would say is that you don't need to blame yourself. You don't need to welcome any feeling of regret concerning the decision that you have made, okay? Because I feel like most times when people start to feel this way, just like this person that asked the question, sometimes you begin to wonder, or you begin to welcome some kind of thoughts that are negative, like, okay, why did I get married when I got married? Or why did I have kids when I had these kids? Or why did I even get married at all? Maybe I could have pursued my career, maybe I could have done this, maybe I could have done that. Oh, and at the time there was this opportunity, but I didn't go for that, I went for this marriage and all of that. The truth is, you're here now, and that is what matters, that's what matters. And I don't think you should blame yourself. I don't think you should welcome any thought, any feeling of regret, because that is something that will compound your feeling of unfulfillment. That is something that will make that feeling even worse off, And the truth is that all of us, like I always say, that most times we make our decisions based on the external circumstances, like our environment, the culture we find ourselves in, because somehow those are the things that drive our life if we are not aware of it. If you're not self-aware, your environment, your culture, your upbringing, those are the things that will drive your life, that will direct your life. You make your decisions based on what you have in your head, And another thing that also drives our decision is your level of personal knowledge, how much how much information is available to you at the time you are making any decision. So there's no point thinking about it and saying, oh, I wish I did not get married at the time I did. At the time you did, that's probably what you thought was the best thing for you. That's what you thought was the right thing for you. Now that you know better, or now that things did not turn out the way you wanted to turn out, or now that you're feeling a bit of you're feeling a bit uncomfortable, you're not fulfilled, this is not the best time for you to now start going back and regretting and wishing this and wishing that. No, like I said, your status or the situation you find yourself in now is not the problem. Your marital status is not what is making you unfulfilled, except the experiences in your marriage has a direct link to what you are feeling. Maybe your partner is not making you happy, which is not the case in this situation. This is just lack of inner fulfillment. This has nothing to do with how your partner is treating you, your husband is treating you, or the circumstances of that marriage, okay? So, like, these are two different cases. I just want to emphasize that, okay? Just the kind of feeling that you are unfulfilled in marriage, not with your marriage, okay? I think that makes sense, So it has nothing to do with your unfulfillment. There's no need. My point is that there's no need to go back and start regretting and start blaming. The thing is, you're unfulfilled. What is the issue? And like I said, most times there are issues, deeper internal issues that are causing lack of fulfillment that you need to address. And the thing is that when you are in marriage, or when you are making a decision, for example, like this lady, she just got married and she just graduated, she was doing something, she was learning a skill, she didn't complete it, and then she just went to get married. At the time, you're excited, this new love, you get married, and then one thing leads to the other, and then you have a child, and then over time you realize that, oh, what next? Like, what am I doing with myself? And then you start to feel unfulfilled, I don't want to muddle all the points together, but my point is that things happen really fast, and when those things that are exciting you, when they're no longer exciting you, you begin to feel unfulfilled. But those things were the things that were actually covering up for the inner work that you should have done, but you didn't do somehow. And then when it comes up, when there are no more excitement in the air, then you begin to say, okay, I'm no longer fulfilled. But there are deeper issues that you need to resolve. It has nothing to do with your marital status. And then another thing I would say is that, the next thing I would say is that you need to do self-assessments, and you need to rediscover yourself, okay? Most times I feel like, just as I said earlier, I feel like a lot of times, especially for women, a lot of times we do not really know who we are before we go into marriage. And most times it's because of our environment, the culture we find ourselves in. I remember, let me give a practical example. I remember when I just graduated, not when I just graduated, when I finished NYC, that day that we finished NYC, that camp, we go to camp, you go and collect your certificate and all of that. So that day, all of us that we went to camp earlier, we saw each other and everything. and we're talking, and you know, some guys, some ladies, and some of the guys said that, oh, like, we were just talking about what's next, like, what are you going to do now? You're going to get a job? Do you want to get retained in the place that you served, the office that you served, and all of that? We're just kind of discussing, and the guys were like, oh, I know you girls, you're going to get married and start popping out babies. And you know, we laughed and we're like, no, please, no, this and that. But then that's exactly the kind of culture that I'm talking about, especially when you're from Africa. You know, for a woman, it's part of the thing that, you know, excites us as women. Like, it's something that the society, the environment puts on us. Nobody would tell a guy after NYC to just go and get married and start popping babies. What they will tell the guy is to go and find a job, go and get himself settled, get himself packaged together before you go and marry a wife, you know. But for the ladies, they'll be like, oh, what's next if you don't get a job? Especially even for my own, that was even my personal experience, you know. When I finished, I was looking for a job. I stayed a year, and then there was someone who was already settled, quite, like, you know, he's been settled for a while, and then he decided that he wanted to get married to this person that he's been dating for a while, who is not settled yet. And then I was like, you know, this is the only thing that is going on well in my life. I might as well get married. You know, that's not the only reason why I got married anyways, but you know, that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. And I feel like that's also what happened with this lady as well. You know, you just go ahead and get married because that seems to be the only thing that's progressing in your life, and you just go ahead and do it. But most times we've not really had that moment to actually sit with ourselves, to rediscover ourselves, to even discover, what am I even saying rediscover, to even discover yourself, to assess yourself, to know your strength, to know who you are, right, as a lady. And I feel like most times, again, most women, it's changing now. Most ladies move from their father's house to their husband's house. So there's no gap between that period that you are under someone's control to another period that you're under, in quotes, under another person's control. Okay, so there's no time that you've stayed on your own to actually see what you're doing. And even maybe when you even stayed on your own, you're probably influenced by your peers and everything that is going on. So there's never been any time that you actually stayed on your own to actually do a deep analysis of yourself, to know who you really are, to discover yourself, to know those things that you can even bring into your relationship, even into your marriage. Even if marriage is your goal, even if homemaking is your desire, most times people do not even sit down to see, okay, what do I even have? What am I bringing to the table as a homemaker? How am I going to do this homemaking thing very well? Nobody does that. I mean, we don't do that. So I think it's very important that even if you did not do it before getting into the marriage, now is the best time to do that. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people lack fulfillment in marriage. I remember even before I got married, I had things I wanted to, you know, progress in my career, but then I didn't get a job. I got married, and then I moved to China because my husband moved. I had to move with my husband as well. And then I got to China. Things now started to pick up for me. But what I thought initially was not what happened, even though things went in a good way for me, but it wasn't exactly what happened, you know. But I already knew, because I spent a lot of my time when I was single focusing on myself, loving up on myself, and enhancing my own skills and all of that. Did I know everything completely? No. And I shared a lot of that in my ebook. And this is one of the services I also offer in my coaching business, On a Fresh Start. That's the name of my business, On a Fresh Start. You can check out my website to know more of what I do, www.onafreshstart.com. You know, that's one of the coaching services that I offer to millennial women, to help you get back up, rediscover yourself, reinvent yourself, you know, discover your own unique assets, to leverage on that to become the best woman that you can be, regardless of what you want to do. Even if you want to be a homemaker, you don't want to do any corporate work, you don't want to have a business, you just want to be a homemaker. That is even a lot of work. You know, that on its own needs schooling. In fact, that's a big deal on its own, you know. So to assess yourself, to actually assess yourself, to discover yourself, to know what you have, what you bring to the table, the kind of value you offer, and unleash it. Unleash it. That is very important. I feel like unfulfillment comes when you have little or no control over some areas of your life, especially those areas of your life that you would want to have control. You know, you want to have control over your finances, you want to have a business that you're running, you want to see yourself in a certain place, or you want to work. At the end of the day, everything that everybody is doing is to have control over certain things. You want to have control over tomorrow. You don't want to wake up tomorrow and be stranded. You don't want to wake up tomorrow and be broke. You know, we all want to have control over certain things. So if unfulfillment comes when you have no control over any aspect of your life, you know. So which is why I think that it's very important to now do a kind of reassessment and self-discovery. Discover that thing that you have so that you can leverage it even in that role that you are playing as a woman. Then just in line with that, another thing I would say is that you then need to empower yourself, okay? You then need to empower yourself. Like I said, it's very important that not only do you assess yourself, not only do you discover things about yourself, but you need to unleash it, okay? You need to empower yourself. And this is why a lot of people just go on and talk about empowering women. You need to have your own money. It's not just about having your own money. Some people are in marriage, they have their own money, and they don't feel empowered. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? You have checked your skills, you have checked yourself, you have assessed yourself, you realize that this is what makes you truly happy. You have then decided that, okay, I want to just be a stay-at-home mom. I want to be a homemaker. Then the next thing to do is to enrich your mind in that area. Empower yourself in that area so that you are the best that there can ever be in that role. You be the best of yourself in that particular area that you have chosen for yourself. Okay, I have decided that I don't want to be in my marriage. I don't want to be a stay-at-home mom, because I've assessed myself and I realized that I have a lot of things inside me. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I have some kind of skills that, you know, I need to unleash. And I know that I can't do that just being a homemaker. You know, it doesn't mean that, well, I'm going to talk about that in the next point, you know. It doesn't mean that I'm not going to, you know, manage my family and everything, but it means that I have a lot more inside that I want to pour out outside of my marriage. You know, I want to give to the world outside of just my home. Some people can decide that everything they have, they want to pour it into their home. Some people will decide that everything I have, I want to pour it not just in my own, but in addition to, you know, outside world. But if you look at it indirectly, the things you do in your home affect the outside world, because you're raising children that will be useful in the society. Your marriage will be an example to other people. Your home might be an example to other people. So indirectly, you're still pouring out as well. But it's just that focus is different. Attention is different, you know. So in that area now, I know that this is something that I want to do. I'm going to enrich myself. I'm going to read books that will empower me in that area. I'm going to do things that will empower me in that area. I'm going to maximize my potentials in that area, because this is an area I've chosen to do. While I'm doing that, it's giving me fulfillment. I'm happy, because that is something that after assessing myself, I know that this is what makes me happy. After assessing myself, I know I have skills that if I leverage will bring me more happiness, you know. So enrich yourself, empower yourself in that area that you have chosen for yourself. It's very important so that you don't sit down in one position, in your comfortable position, and complain of lack of fulfillment. And then another thing I would say is that you need to aim for balance, okay? You need to aim for balance. Like I said earlier, sometimes when things happen in your home or in marriage, you begin to feel like it's that marriage that is the issue, when it's actually not. Sometimes the issue is that you lack balance, okay? Just like this lady, she focused so much on the marriage that she now begins to feel like, oh, the marriage is not even working, you know, because I think that, okay, you did not even enrich yourself in the first place for that marriage. Sometimes people say, I'm working on my marriage. Meanwhile, what they are doing is just cook food, wash clothes for their husband, do menial things. They don't actually in any way provide other value, because value can come in different forms. Let's say, for example, with my husband, what he considers value is different from what everybody considers value. If I'm able to have valuable conversations with him, if he's able to share something with me as regards to work, something that I don't even have an idea about, and I can share something valuable with him, he considers that value. It may be different from somebody else who considers value as eating good food after a hard day of work. is kind of different, you know. So if you think that I'm working on my marriage and you're providing value that does not meet the needs of your partner, it can be quite challenging, and then you feel like, oh, I'm doing my best, I'm putting everything for my marriage, and it seems not to be working, you know. And all of these things, again, that kind of intelligence, it comes from when you have assessed yourself and you have enriched yourself and you have empowered yourself. That's how you are aware of this nitty-gritty in your home, this nitty-gritty in your marriage, this nitty-gritty in your family, you know. So anyway, my point is that you need to aim for balance, okay? You don't say, okay, I'm working on my marriage, and you lack your own personal development and you're not enriched as a person, as a woman. You can't say that, okay, I want to focus on developing my children, and you're not developing yourself. How can you even give what you do not even have? Okay, if you say I want to focus on taking care of my children and you yourself are not taking care of yourself, how are you taking care of the children in the first place? You know, so there has to be a balance in everything that we do as women, even in marriage. As you're taking care of your marriage, you're taking care of your children, you're taking better care of yourself, because whenever you're pouring out into anything, you need to fill yourself up immediately. Because let's say, okay, this is a bottle of water. As you pour from it, little by little, you're draining, you're taking out of yourself. If you're not opening the tap to put water back in that place, you become empty. And then when you're empty, unfulfillment will definitely come in. You know, so my point is that you need to aim for balance in marriage or in whatever you're doing. Anybody that does not, you know, we're a whole human being. We're a whole human being. As you have the hand, you have the legs, you have different parts, you have different areas, different parts of your body. So is the same with your life. You have different areas of your life. Your spirituality, your social life, your finances, your marriage, your home, your personal development, everything makes up who you are. And every aspect, every area of this thing adds up to make you happy, to make you fulfilled. So it is very important to aim for balance, okay? Aim for balance. Don't say, now I'm about to focus on myself, because when I was talking to this lady, when we went in depth in the conversation, she was like, this is the time for her to even be selfish. She's going to cater for herself. And I'm like, no. As much as you think that, okay, yes, this is the time for you, you already have this family. And the truth is that if these things are not a part of your life, you're going to miss it. You are truly going to miss it. I remember sometime last year when I was still in China, you know, I was saying, oh, I need some time to myself. I don't want to see anybody. And during my birthday, I decided to, you know, use that time to escape from everything. And I actually missed my family while I was away having my me time. I was missing them, and I was like, And then I understood that this has become a part of me, and I can no longer wish for things. I can no longer wish for my life to be the way it was before I had a family, you know. So as much as you're saying now you want to focus on yourself, if those things are not there, you're going to miss it, and it's going to have an impact on you. You can no longer be single the moment you're married, like Victoria will say. Like Victoria, that we record Truth and Tales together, the podcast. By the way, if you enjoyed this video, you're going to enjoy the conversations we have on the podcast, the Truth and Tales podcast, because that's where I mainly talk about relationships, okay? So anyway, you know, just like she would say that once you are married, you can no longer bear the term single anymore. It's either they call you married woman, or they call you a divorcee, or they call you someone that has lost his husband. What do they call that one? Widow. Or they call you another name. You can never go back to being single, and that part of you is always going to be there. So you can't say, okay, now I want to be selfish and then focus on that area again. If you focus too much on yourself and that area is lagging behind, that feeling of unfulfillment is likely to come back, because they're already a part of your life. So what I'm saying in essence is that you need to aim for balance. If you want to have, if you want all-round fulfillment in your life, you need to aim for balance. How to manage all the aspects of your life that you have. So like I was trying to say earlier, I'm not going to say because there are skills, there are things about me that I want to harness, I want to pour out in the world, I want to give to the world. I don't want to negate this responsibility as well, because it's also a part of me. It's also something that makes me happy. Sometimes when I look at my kids and they make some kind of gestures, or they see some things, some funny things, I laugh and I feel very happy. I feel so blessed. I cannot take that away. I cannot say I don't want that anymore in my life. I just want to focus on, you know, my giftings, you know, all of that and all of that. I will probably be unfulfilled. I'll probably feel miserable as well, you know. So it's about achieving a balance. So just to do a quick summary of everything I've talked about, or the points I've given, that I'm also waiting for you guys' response in the comments while I wait for you guys' response. So I've mentioned that you shouldn't blame yourself or regret or wish that you didn't make that decision that you made. You know, don't do that. Another thing now is to do self-assessment and rediscover yourself, and then you should enrich yourself and empower yourself for your role, okay, or your roles, as the case may be. You know, empower and enrich yourself for your roles, and then finally aim for a balance, okay? Aim for a balanced life. Most times people focus so much on one area that when the time comes, they realize that I'm no longer fulfilled. People that focus so much on their job and realize that they neglected their family, they'll end up feeling unfulfilled, you know? So it's all about achieving a balance at the end of the day. So I feel like these points are also applicable if you're feeling unfulfilled in other areas of life. If you're unfulfilled in your job, you might want to go back to reassess yourself and, you know, do a self-discovery. Why am I feeling unfulfilled in this job? Do I need to take on new roles? Are there skills about myself that I've not harnessed? Am I feeling, you know, just do a quick analysis and evaluation, and then find a way to achieve balance in your life. So if you'd like to know more on how to enrich and empower yourself as a lady, I'd highly recommend my ebook, A Smart Girl's Guide to Freedom. It's going to help you during your alone time. It's going to help you to ask yourself deep questions. It has a 7 days assessment plan where there are prompt questions and there are sheets, there are work notes for you to actually put down things, you know, write down your thoughts, and those questions can even spark more questions for you to actually begin to do a deep analysis of yourself. So it's a self-help ebook, okay, that will really help you. Like I said, I thought it was going to be useful for younger adults, but I realized that even matured older people, when I mean young adult, I mean less than 25, but even people within that age range in their mid 30s, late 20s also find the book very valuable. So yes, I honestly would recommend the book, because sometimes I even go back to my book, honestly. And if you think that you need a one-on-one coaching, if you need personalized coaching service, then you can visit my website www.onherfreshstart.com, or you can send me a DM, or you can leave a comment in the comment section. You send me a DM on Instagram. And yes, you can also subscribe to my weekly newsletter, Tuesdays with Yemi. In the mail, we share tips, resources, tools, and thoughts on how to be a redefined woman, okay? You can join the community. Everything you need to know will be in the description box for you, all right? I feel like I've talked a lot on this video. I feel like this video will be super long, but however the length, I think that the lessons and the things that I talked about in the video will be highly valuable to you, all right? So if you find value in this video, please do not forget to share with your friends and loved ones, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications, and as always, you guys are amazing and I love you all. Bye.